Hi everyone. Today I'd like to talk about a question that's becoming more relevant every day as we face the dual challenges of climate change and urban pollution. Are electric cars the real solution to pollution? It's an exciting question because electric vehicles, or EVs, are often advertised as a clean, futuristic alternative to traditional gasoline or diesel cars. We see governments offering tax breaks for EV buyers, companies racing to produce cheaper models, and headlines telling us that electric cars are the key to a greener planet. But the truth is more complex. Electric cars do play an important role in reducing pollution, that's true. But they are not a perfect or complete solution. To understand why, let's break it down step by step. Let's begin with the positive impacts of electric cars. First of all, EVs produce zero tailpipe emissions. That means no carbon dioxide, no nitrogen oxides, and no particulate matter coming directly from the car. In a city full of electric vehicles, the air would be significantly cleaner. This has real health benefits. According to the World Health Organization, air pollution contributes to over 7 million premature deaths every year. Much of that pollution comes from vehicle exhaust. By switching to EVs, we can dramatically reduce urban air pollution and improve public health, especially for children, the elderly, and people with asthma or heart disease. Second, electric cars are far more efficient than internal combustion engine vehicles. While a gasoline engine converts only about 20 to 30% of the energy and fuel into motion, an electric motor can convert over 75%. That means less energy is wasted, and that's a huge win for sustainability. Third, EVs contribute to reducing greenhouse gas emissions, which are the primary cause of global warming. Transportation makes up roughly 1/5 of global CO2 emissions, and cars are a big part of that. Shifting to EVs can significantly lower those emissions, but only if the electricity they use is clean. And that brings us to the challenges and limitations of electric vehicles. Because while EVs don't produce emissions on the road, they do somewhere else, at the power plant. If your country still relies heavily on coal or natural gas to generate electricity, then the electricity used to charge your car may still be polluting the air and heating the planet. In other words, an electric car is only as clean as the grid that powers it. In countries like Norway, where nearly all electricity comes from hydropower, EVs are truly green. But in countries where coal still dominates, the environmental benefit is much smaller. Now let's talk about the battery issue. EV batteries require materials like lithium, cobalt, nickel, and rare earth metals. Mining these materials often causes serious environmental destruction, from water pollution to deforestation, and raises ethical concerns, such as child labor and unsafe working conditions in places like the Democratic Republic of Congo. This means that electric cars shift some of the environmental burden away from the air and into the ground. Yes, the emissions might be lower, but the supply chain creates new problems that we cannot ignore. In addition, battery production is energy intensive. Studies have shown that manufacturing an electric car often produces more emissions up front than a traditional gasoline car. However, over time, EVs make up for that through lower emissions while driving, but only if they're used for many years and charged with cleaner electricity. Another limitation is that EVs don't solve the problem of traffic congestion or urban planning. Electric cars still take up space. They still contribute to traffic jams. And they still require massive infrastructure, roads, highways, parking lots, that damage ecosystems and promote car-centered cities. In fact, the most sustainable cities in the world, like Copenhagen or Amsterdam, don't rely on electric cars. They invest in public transportation, bike lanes, and pedestrian-friendly spaces. That reduces pollution, improves public health, and brings communities closer together. So while replacing gas cars with electric ones helps reduce pollution, replacing cars with trains, buses, bikes, and walking is even more effective. Let's not forget another hidden source of pollution: tire and brake particles. Even though electric cars don't emit exhaust gases, they still release tiny particles into the air when tires wear down, especially because EVs are often heavier due to their batteries. These microplastics and dust particles can still cause health issues and environmental harm. So again, electric does not mean pollution-free. Now, some people argue, but at least EVs are better than nothing. And I agree. Electric cars are better than gasoline cars, in most cases. They're a step in the right direction. But they're not the final destination. If we treat EVs as the solution, we risk missing out on more meaningful changes to how we move and how we live. Instead, we need to look at the bigger picture. What if we asked not just, how do we make cars cleaner? But also, how do we reduce the number of cars? How do we design better cities? How do we make public transport faster, cheaper, and more attractive? Because the cleanest car in the world is no car at all. So what can young people do? First, don't stop at electric cars. Support public transit. Choose to walk or cycle when you can. Speak up for smart city planning and investment in green mobility. Second, stay informed. Ask tough questions about where your electricity comes from, how batteries are made, and what companies are doing to make EVs more sustainable. Third, demand better. Not just better vehicles, but better systems. Cleaner energy. Ethical supply chains. Real sustainability. And finally, lead by example. Because every time you choose a cleaner form of transport, or help raise awareness, or support policy change, you help move us closer to a truly green future. In conclusion, electric cars are a part of the solution to pollution, but they are not the solution. They help reduce emissions, especially in cities, and they are much cleaner than gas-powered cars. But they also create new environmental and ethical challenges. To truly protect our planet, we must go beyond simply switching fuels. We need to rethink how we travel, how we build our cities, and how we share this planet with future generations. Let's not just drive better cars. Let's build a better world. Thank you very much.